Most people don't realize that you can make an aged cheese from ricotta called Ricotta Salata. It can be from ricotta from the store or made at home like I did in a previous episode. Well, the first step is to put the ricotta in one of these draining baskets. And something like this, you'll see here's the basket for the drain, then something to catch the whey as it drains out. You can get these from a lot of different sources, so it's no problem to get one of these. What you do then is you let it drain naturally until it stops, and that's going to take about 6 or so hours. Is watch it drain as the whey gets down in there, you get rid of it, and you let it keep doing it. And when it's done naturally, then you have to set up a way to press it with about 2 pounds of weight for 1 to 2 days. You know, I've rigged something. I've had a container that I could put on top, and I had a weight, and I was able to rig something in my refrigerator that would work. I'm sure that most people can figure out a way to do that. So once that's done, after a couple of days, you're going to unmold it from this basket. So you put it down over a plate and you unmold it, right? Looks very much like you've seen some ricotta. If you've seen fresh ricotta in certain cheese shops, looks very much like that. Now, the first step is to salt it. And when you do this, you don't want to just put the salt on it. I mean, it's a starting thing like that, but you want to sort of really rub the salt into it. Now, at this stage, because it's still pretty soft, you're going to have to be a little bit gentle so that you don't break the thing up. And then you're just going to rub salt. Make sure you're running into the surface a little bit, you know, get it in there. And then I'm going to just put it on the plate. I'm going to leave it on the plate. I'm going to cover it with cellophane, and I'm going to place it in the fridge. I'm going to repeat this process every other day for the first week. And then once I've done that, I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt, maybe every few days, until it stops weeping, until I stop seeing whey gather in the plate. And whenever I do that, I dump it out. Once I've got that done, we'll go on to the next step in the aging process. So I did what I said. I salted this every other day for the first week. So I got salted basically 3 other times after the first one. And then I was still weeping a little bit. It was still making a little bit of liquid come out of it. So I salted it one more time 4 days later because it was just barely weeping a little bit. And then it stopped. Okay, so that means it's dry. Okay, it's very dry. And so now we begin the serious aging process, and that occurs uncovered. So I'm going to take it and put it on a rack above this plate, and it's going to now start to do its aging. It's going to do that for at least a month, okay? That's the minimum aging amount of time. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and in case I start to see any little bits of mold form or anything like that, I will, just use a little brine, and I'll just get the mold that way. So this is going to go back to the fridge, and a month later, we'll come back and check it out. Okay, so here's the cheese after a bit more than a month, my Ricotta Salata. And we're going to go ahead and give it a taste of some of it. And you can see that it's very firm, very dry inside. We'll go ahead and let you have a little taste there. I'm going to have a little taste here. So, it's very firm. Obviously, it's a salty cheese, like a Romano or something like that. A little crumbly.
You could almost grate this.
Yeah, that's how the idea.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea. Is you're supposed to be able to grate this. We're actually going to just do that for a while, but I'm going to save some of it just to see. We're going to save some of it and let it age even longer, like a couple more months. And at that point, it should then become drier and even harder and have a more complex and savory flavor, like the reason like you sometimes want a more aged Parmesan, than you normally get.
Yeah, but this is delicious, and it's not really like... I'm not familiar with ricotta salata, to be honest. So this is kind of a first for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's it, folks. Like I said, a lot of people don't know that you can take ricotta, then you can turn it into a hard cheese, but that's how you do it. We'll see you next time.